Now, there are 7 billion people on the planet, yet many of us believe there is only one person you're destined to be with.
Finding the one sounds romantic, but one expert says it's an idea we need to ditch. And the reality is we could actually match with a whole lot more people than we realise.
Nothing you can do that can't be done.
It's a dream we're sold by Hollywood time and time again.
You
Nothing you can say, but you can learn how to
complete
play the game.
me.
Of finding the one.
1,000 times good night.
1,000 times the worse to want that light.
The Mr. Big to your Carrie.
Just tell me I'm the one.
The Noah to your Ally.
It wasn't over. It still isn't over.
In the real world, everyone has an opinion.
There is the one for everybody, yeah. I think so. I do believe in it. I think, yeah, my parents have spent their entire life together.
I feel like the idea of soulmates is a bit trash.
I believe there's lots of ones, and you're lucky if you find one of them.
The authors behind this new book want to set the record straight. They claim there is no one person. Rather, 350,000 people each one of us could have a match with in the world. Take out 99.9% of that number due to location or because they're married, and you're left with a pool of about 350 potential suitors. The secret to love, they claim, is shifting the way we think. Instead of finding the one, we should be choosing the one.
I've got my one and I'm going to stick with him.
Love is all you need.
Dr George Blair-West is a psychiatrist and author of How to Make the Biggest Decision of Your Life. Nice to see you. This is fascinating. How detrimental can the idea of finding the one be to someone's quest to find love?
Yeah, I think it's a very problematic concept that has presided over literally the highest divorce rate in the history of love marriages. And when you look at this fascinating research that sits behind this, it's all based on arranged marriages. And what they found, we know still almost half the world have arranged marriages. They have a very low divorce rate of around 10%. And when you study the amount of love in the relationship over time, you find that as love typically declines in a love marriage, it increases in an arranged marriage, such that at around 10 years, the level of love is about twice that in a love marriage. And this is why doctors marry nurses, bosses marry secretaries. It's all about proximity, creating intimacy, and then the love following from that. So it's a bit more complicated, and it's that end of it that we're really interested in, the beginning of the relationship, because relationships are hard.
Yeah, it's fascinating what you... OK, so when you sort of take the emotion, because we all think love is, you know, it's such an emotional choice, but when you look at the analytics of it, what is the secret to finding love? Being near that person, is that it?
The first thing we have to do is we have to let go of this idea that we are going to find love, we're going to fall in love like there's some kind of gravity-based process that's going to carry us through the difficult times in a relationship. The reality is that we have to build love over time. And so this means that we've got to really readjust the way we think about it. We fall into infatuation, and that has almost nothing to do with the building blocks of a long-term relationship.
OK, so you actually have to work on it. You go through the ups and downs, you work on it together.
Look, when you look at successful marriages, Koshi, that is the backbone of them. They don't expect that they're going to just be sorting out their problems because they were madly in love. They realise there's a whole other factor, and that's a commitment to growing the relationship. And that's the core, but there's other factors as well.
George, just really quickly, because we have to go, how do you know when it's time to move on then by this rationale?
Yes, look, this is why we wrote the book in many ways, because when you track back, you can see that the things that brought relationships undone were present right back at the beginning. So we've got to extend our courting periods, which fortunately millennials are doing, so that we can evaluate things like how good our alignment is around core values, how good our alignment is around the vision that we have for the marriage. Because if you don't have those things aligned, then love is not enough.
Yeah, great advice. George, thank you for that. It's fascinating.
My pleasure, guys.
Where were you in my life for the last 30 years, George? Well done. Great book. Thanks for your time today.
Thanks, guys.
All right, now it's called How to Make the Biggest Decision of Your Life. It's available at bookstores online. Go to sunrise.com for all the details.